nigga. Nope, not anymore. Hey guys, good morning. Like, what are we going to do? Like, Trump ain't going to be in there forever and ever, right? He might be out of there sooner than we think. I've been kind of speculating on if he might run, cut and run. He gave, what was it, Argentina $40 billion to bail him out. 40 billion. So he may run, he may get impeached, he'll get out. But what happens afterwards? We've already discussed co-determination. We've discussed nonpartisan Speaker of the House. But what about the president? How about making it where he can't fire people willy-nilly? That sounds kind of bad. The Senate confirms somebody, and then the president goes and fires them. Just right off, without any consultation or anything. So if it was me, I'd have the Senate have to go along with it. If the president wants to fire somebody, the Senate, they need to be right in there and give it the blessing, the go ahead, whatever. But, the president, he's proved over and over again how he's firing people for political reasons. And he firing people and putting in his cronies like Pam Bondi and stuff like that. So now they're trying to, they want to investigate the Democratic Party over the Epstein files, Hillary Clinton and them, see? So that's why we can't let the president be firing people, because they can't be firing like all these Senate confirmed people without the Senate giving it the okay. It's only logical. That's one of the things that we need. We should demand. And another thing that needs to be demand is a thriving wage. To heck with a dad blame living wage. My dog gets a living wage. Our people need a thriving wage so that they can have a happy life and get along. Just bare necessities, to eat and to have a roof over your head. And at the end of the month, you're back down to zero. That ain't good enough for our people. If we have a happy workforce that appreciates their job and society and everything because they're treated well, they're going to work real hard. They're not going to be over there like saying, man, this really does suck. Work my ass off and I don't get ahead or nothing. Instead, they'll be going out, they'll be saying, yeah, man, I love my job. I'll go out and spend this money and buy things and stuff with this money I have. And what happens? The economy starts going up. So don't settle for no stinking, dumb living wage. You want a thriving wage. And on top of that, you want a cost of living increase every single year. Every January the 1st, you need to have a cost of living increase on your wage, just like people like me on Social Security. I get a cost of living increase on my Social Security every single year. So why do they do that? They say, well, it's bad to let inflation eat up the spending power of people on Social Security. Well, what? People working? What are they, chopped liver? Don't they deserve the same consideration? I think so. So to me, it's like only natural. And besides that, it's no fair. Businesses, they get to raise their prices on a whim. Hi there, Carter. The businesses, they raise their prices on a whim. They say, oh man, we got to raise our prices because our costs went up. Well, labor don't get to say, oh, we got to raise our wages because costs went up. No, they don't get to say that. They get left behind. They they get left begging. They're at the mercy of the company. That's why you have to have a thriving wage, and it has to have a COLA every single year. And another thing about food security. That is one of the most basicest things that you can have. They talk about health care all the time. Well, what's the first basic number one thing involved in health care? Food. If you don't have good nutrition, you don't have good health care. And that causes a lot of extra costs in America where people with poor health have to go to the doctor and everything because of poor nutrition. So if people have good nutrition, costs will go down and everybody will be a lot happier, stronger, be able to work harder, to play harder and everything. And our whole economy and our whole civilization will go up. So they say that health care is a right. But in my humble opinion, I think it is an obligation that we owe each other. But food, what about food? Is that a right? Is that an obligation? I think food might have to be like a right. Maybe we need to like start nationalizing all the farms and making it where it's like nationalized farms that have it where you can go into the store and get food from a nationalized grocery store or something. Make it where there's still commercial farms and stuff where if people want to go and spend $100 on something that should cost only $5, they can. But otherwise, food should be like just as much like housing or health care. Food, golly, people they use food as a weapon, and you saw it happening with that shutdown. Food was being used as a weapon. And that ain't no new trick either. That is some old tricks. That goes way back to the colonial era. That's why they used to have all the plantations. Like they'd have a sugar plantation over there, and a beet plantation over there, and this plantation, and that plantation. So all these people, they were growing one thing. So they depended on all these other colonies for other foods. So if one area got out of line, they could cut them off. You dig it? See? So food has always been used as a weapon against the people. So if food security is solid, that can't be used as a weapon. It couldn't be used for leverage. Trump would have never been able to use that for leverage during the shutdown. And another thing about food, they never ever mentioned about planting victory gardens. During the pandemic, they never mentioned it at all. I mean, they haven't mentioned it, as far as I know, since World War II. And back then, our people grew an equal amount of food as what all the commercial farms grew. You can buy seeds with food stamps. They don't want to tell you that, or maybe they do want to tell you, but I don't hear too much about it. I don't hear people talking about it very much. Only problem right now is winter's coming on. So it ain't much you can do right now except maybe get prepared for next spring. So when next spring comes along, get out there, get your kids out there, y'all have fun, and plant your victory garden. Hell, I'm still getting tomatoes out there in my garden, and it's cold. So I guess that'll preserve those tomatoes that are still out there. But anyway, yeah, plant your garden. So these are things that we need to think about after Trump is gone. Like, no more letting him fire people willy-nilly like that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Okay? Food security. You want to make sure you got food security. You want to make sure you got a thriving wage and not a piddly old living wage, and a cost of living increase every single year. So that's what I got for you this morning, and I hope you have a great week, because this is Monday, fun day. So you guys take care. Love you all.